Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Naga Manchetti and Charlie State.
Our headlines today.
Nigel Farage claims the party.
Miller pays tribute.
Reassurance.
Good morning from Germany, where the first of the knockout matches at this year's Euros takes place today. England will learn who will await them in the quarter-finals if they can beat Slovakia tomorrow. Meanwhile, here in Dortmund, the hosts Germany play later.
And if you later.
Literally count people in. It's become a very visible thing.
Shan, who came to the UK in the back of a lorry aged 17 and now has UK citizenship, is preparing to vote for the first time in a general election. Now training to be a nurse, she says all the focus on immigration, particularly illegal immigration, can be dehumanising.
Always on the negative side. It's always in the way of the illegal, as if someone coming as a refugee is being like a criminal or trying to do something different than what is supposed to be, rather than human basic things that this someone seeking safety in this country. So I guess it's like it gives me a feel of upsetting and annoyed.
The main political parties agree that people between the parties.
Simon Jones, BBC News.
For the Euros.
2 days without football. Have you coped?
Very well, thank you. No, I'm looking forward to it, but I don't need it every day.
Yes, there are those who get into a bit of a rhythm during the group stage of a major tournament, because there are sometimes, well, pretty much all the time, three games a day for 2 weeks. And then suddenly it all stops for a couple of days. And now it'll be more sporadic over the course of the next couple of weeks as we wait until the final. And so there's been a strange kind of, hiatus for a couple of days. But now, of course, it comes back, and it comes back with a vengeance, because teams will start to go home because it's the knockout stage. We've also had a couple of days without John Watson, which has been particularly hard for some of us to endure. But thankfully, John is out in Dortmund for us. And John, there is a real sense after that little break that things mean a lot, particularly over the weekend for England tomorrow, and potentially, should England get through, who they might play, which we'll find out today.
Yes, I mean, it's always nice to have a bit of a pause, isn't it, to reflect on what we've seen so far, Hugh, because it's fair to say we've seen some upsets, we've seen some great goals, some great atmospheres across all of the host cities here in Germany, and we will see another one of those today. We're live in Dortmund this morning, where the host Germany will be taking on Denmark in one of those two last 16 matches today. And as you were pointing out there, significantly for England, they will learn who will await them potentially in the quarterfinals if they can beat Slovakia tomorrow. And Patrick Geary can tell us.
This has been a tournament with the volume turned up. At least for the hosts, Germany have started confidently to space. Denmark.
Of our fans will be always the same, so try to produce another pictures.
Where Switzerland face Italy, the win. But in the past few days, they've had
for me family, just to show them what I was doing. And then before I knew it, I was face first into the floor. You know, give people what they want to see.
England are...
So let's just set the scene, shall we? 8 teams have obviously gone home now. We are into the last 16, so we will see 2 matches every day for the next 4 days. So if you've missed the football, don't worry, it's going to be back, and the games are coming thick and fast. As I was saying, the winner of that will essentially face England in the quarterfinals. 8 play their last 16 match tomorrow. What awaits them, you wonder? I'll tell you what, though, having a look at this, it'd be a great seat for the game, wouldn't it? Very comfortable. Not sure I'm getting this back home, though, am I? Let's be honest.
John, thank you very much indeed. We'll be back to John in an hour's time, when I imagine he will be just as comfortable. Now, the second...
I don't speak as smoothly as I used to. But I know what I do know.
Queen Camilla pays tribute to
pride.
Good morning from Germany, where the first of the knockout matches at this year's Euros takes place today. England will learn later who will face them in the quarterfinals if they can beat Slovakia in Gelsenkirchen tomorrow. Meanwhile, here in Dortmund, the host Germany are in action later.
Today, join me for the full forecast later.
But I know what I do know.
You're a source of inspiration.
of the pyramid stage.
Good morning from Germany, where the first of the knockout matches at this year's Euros takes place today. England will know who will await them in the quarter-finals if they can beat Slovakia tomorrow. Meanwhile, here in Dortmund, the hosts Germany play later.
Yeah, apologies for the sound interference. We'll sort that out before talking to John again in the next few minutes.
Time now is 8:32. Of course, there is a weekend of football to look forward to now, Hugh, because you've had a couple of days off, and more importantly, not so much for you, more importantly for the players, they've had some time to rest. There's been criticism, particularly of England, and pace and heat, and whether or not they've got the stamina.
Yeah, that's right. It has been quite the vacuum into which we have had to put things. And we are at the stage of Euro 2024. We've got rid of 8 teams, and over the next few days, we're going to get rid of another 8. And that will leave us with 8 remaining. So it's going to be a pivotal few days in the last 16.
With my limited knowledge of football competitions, maths, and all things, basically, all things, it's like day one, isn't it? When you get to the knockouts, it's like all the stuff that happened before doesn't matter.
Cliche, don't you, as we join John Watson in Dortmund for Germany's game a little bit later on. It's one of those things, John, if the hosts do well, the tournament does well. So it's a big day for Germany today.
It is, yes, and I think sort of one of the big things really about the tournament so far is the atmospheres that have been created in all of the host cities throughout Germany. We're here in Dortmund at the moment, where the hosts will play a little bit later on against Denmark. We've got some Danish fans here, plenty of German fans as well, and that atmosphere is going to be created here once again. And obviously they started so brilliantly against Scotland, didn't they? And really demonstrating why they are one of the favourites this year.
Question our internationals and their attitude and the way they apply themselves. Never, because they all go out to win the game and they all go with 100% attitude into what they need to do. I just think tactically, we've just been a little bit off it. Our performances in the groups haven't been great, but we've got through. I just can't get on board with people having a go at everybody to do with England and saying, like, rubbish, not great. It hasn't been great to watch. It hasn't been great football. We're through the groups. Now it gets interesting. Now Gareth Southgate, who was my captain at Villa, has to change things. All his coaching staff have got to say, right, this is the knockout stages. This is what we have to do. We're changing it. We are going for it. Let the reins off. Let those flair players go and play football. Let the defenders defend. And that's it. And if we do that, we will have no problems at all overcoming Slovakia.
The relative riches that Gareth Southgate has at his disposal, Dion, include Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham, 2 players who like to play in similar positions. First of all, Phil Foden has become a father for the 3rd time this week. Jude Bellingham's birthday today. So I think Naga has a question. I don't know if it's about Jude Bellingham's cake, but it's certainly about something related to...
No, I think, well, back in my day, Naga, which is a long time ago, if we had a cake, we probably ate it with a pint, I would imagine.
Over breakfast.
It's a long time ago, by the way.
Discipline's certainly different now. Thanks, Dion.
Thank you, Naga. Thank you, Dion. Yeah, we'll speak, no doubt, again before the end of the tournament. That's Dion. Starts today in Mark Cavendish's and indeed all the sprinters' first chance to win a stage. Were he to get 35, could well be Monday.
It's always such an amazing spectacle, isn't it? Those overhead shots as they steam through the country. I love it. It is amazing. Thank you very much.
Elizabeth is taking a look at the weather